Hi, my name is Dawn Parks, and I'm very interested in the role of COO for Matchbox. I want to take the next couple of minutes to entice you into taking a good hard look at me and my resume, because not all of the skills and abilities that a person has show up on a flat piece of paper. I come to the table with a lot of the skills that you would expect a COO to have. I'm creative, high energy, very responsible, have a good reputation, and I bring strong management skills. But there's a couple of things that I bring to the table that perhaps not everyone else will, and I wanted to share those with you. So the first place I wanted to start with is this notion of how I approach problems and goals. I think in 3D. You know, it's easy to draw mind maps and linear diagrams and organizational charts that live on a piece of paper, but I actually think in 3D. So if you take a look at this is kind of like the way I think. There are so many moving parts with regard to any problem or any kind of solution or goal. The solutions are all tied up together. There are so many different ways that things connect. And so when I actually think about a problem or I think about a goal, something that I want to achieve, I can't help but think in 3D, which automatically takes me out of the flat plane and starts thinking about how do we connect people? How do I connect resources? Who's available to help us make this big thing come into existence? So I always start thinking about things from a 3D perspective. So when it comes to talking about 3D, then that also has me start thinking about what is the full potential of something. So some things will start out very small. We have certain ideas. But when I start to look at things and I want to engage people in something, I want to take a look at what does it look like 10 years out? Okay, what does it look like 15 years out? And when we start to look at that, I start to pull it back in and say, how do we connect things? So everywhere I look, there's possibility and there's potential. So that's the way I approach all of the problems. And over time, if you talk to any of my acquaintances or my friends or the people that I have worked with in the past, they'll tell you that I'm also known as the possibility queen. I see potential everywhere. So that's something that I would bring to the table that not everybody else does. The other thing that I bring to the table is this notion of storytelling. I have a background in public and government affairs, which comes from my work in genetic engineering of trees. And you know, people love their trees. They don't want anybody to touch their trees. They can barely handle it when we can touch the soybeans with genetic engineering. But when it comes to trees, it's a very tricky conversation. So I learned over the years how to take this very complicated scientific conversation and reorganize it in a way that we could talk to garden clubs, senators, we could talk to people on an international scope, or we could talk to even eco-terrorists. And that business is going very strong at this point in time, and it's as a result of learning how to tell the story in a way that you say, hold true to your story while you're also trying to understand what the issues are that other people are engaged in. And because of this storytelling capacity and because of my ability to think in 3D, I wound up being the industry representative for international treaty negotiations with the United Nations when it came to genetic engineering. So I'm able to talk with almost anybody about any problem or any situation that people want to have, you know, come into existence. And so I think that when you take a look at the different resumes that are going to come across your desk, and I know there's going to be some great ones, I want you to take a serious look at mine, because I think that the thing that I can bring is this bigger vision and the ability to connect people, places, and things through stories to produce results. Once again, I am Dawn Parks, and I look forward to hearing from you and having you say, yes, let's take a look at Dawn as a possible person for our COO position at Matchbox.